Match day 6 in the 2025-26 Premier League absolutely threw up some huge surprises, but let's have a look at the 5 main matches, the 5 things that we learned from this weekend's Premier League action. And we're going to start with the early kickoff on Saturday, Brentford against Manchester United. And was this really a surprise? Brentford winning against Man United, Man United still winless away from home. Brentford actually been pretty decent at home this season so far in the GTEC Stadium. A lot of people tipping them to struggle, but they won 3-1 in this one. 2 goals from Igor Thiago, of course, having his first full season as a Brentford player. He was around last season, but he was injured for pretty much the entire campaign. Matthias Jensen also getting a goal for Brentford very late on. And the one positive for Man United, maybe you'd say, is the fact that Šeško scored, but yeah, I mean, aside from that, nothing really went right for them. Fernandes missed a penalty. They were not particularly clinical in the chances that they did have. And in truth, they didn't have that many chances, really. I mean, Brentford deservedly won this game, let's be honest here. You know, Man United had a bit more of the ball, but that was kind of all you could really say, to be honest. Everything went wrong for them. And yeah, you just got to kind of move on to the next one. But, you know, questions again being asked about Amrim. You know, is his future safe there at the Old Trafford? I don't think it is, to be honest. But we'll see. There's all them rumours about if they sack him within 12 months of appointing him, they'll have to give him a massive payout, which they can't afford. So they might sack him next month. I think he started in October last year. But we'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see. But yeah, not very encouraging at all if you're a Man United fan after that one. Not very encouraging either for Chelsea. They ended up losing at home against Brighton. I mean, this could have easily been a decent point for them in the circumstances. Those circumstances being that they were heading into injury time 1-1. Jared Chalobah was sent off earlier in the game. They had to spend almost the entire second half of the match down to 10 men. It wouldn't have been a bad point for Chelsea, but Brighton just in injury time. A quick fire double for them. De Kuyper and Danny Welbeck with another goal. Welbeck getting 2 goals in this one. I mean, he's still banging him in. He's still banging him in. Fair play to Danny Welbeck. He's a man reborn down on the south coast. It's nothing new, of course. He's been there for a good time now. But my word, is he playing well for Brighton. Brilliant. I mean, Brighton just very clinical with their opportunities as well. 3 shots on target and 3 goals. Admittedly, they did have 12 shots in total, which almost perfectly mirrored what Chelsea had, but they were just far more clinical with their chances in the end. Possession as well. Chelsea had more of that, but nothing doing in the end. Chelsea very much throwing this one away. They had a decent start to the campaign, but yeah, they've been winless in a little bit now. They're starting to wobble and fall down that table, unfortunately for them. But in their place, other teams have risen up, one of them being Crystal Palace, who managed to inflict the first defeat of the season on Liverpool. 2-1 to the Eagles. Unbelievable stuff. I thought that Palace would have done well in this game, but I didn't think they'd get anything out of it. You know, Liverpool have just been getting the job done so far in the Premier League, but this time it was Uno reverse card time, because it wasn't Liverpool doing the late show, it was the other team. Eddie Nketiah with a 97th minute winner. I mean, it seemed as though Federico Chiesa had rescued a point for Liverpool in this one. They scored pretty late on too, after Ismaila Sarr put Palace up 1-0 after less than 10 minutes played. But in the end, Palace get an unbelievable win against Liverpool. And to be honest, in a sense, they kind of deserved it. I mean, they didn't have much of the ball. Palace absolutely played for the counter-attack in this one. They were recorded at less than 30% possession, despite being at home at Selhurst Park. But in the end, it didn't matter. You know, they produced more chances and they took them. They absolutely took them. And at the time, when full-time was called, Palace were up to second. Palace were the closest challengers to Liverpool, but of course Palace now are the only side in the Premier League that are unbeaten. They beat the other one, Liverpool, so absolutely incredible stuff. Wow, Ollie Glasner, take a bow, son. What an incredible job he is doing over in Southeast London. Absolutely incredible. Fair play to them. Brilliant. Let's talk about one of the late matches next on Saturday. Incredible stuff from Wolverhampton Wanderers to get their first point of the season. They had lost every single game up until this point. It was a very end-to-end match. Both sides had a lot of opportunities in this one. And in the end, I think a draw, to be honest, was probably a fair result. But Spurs will absolutely be kicking themselves. This seemed like almost a free hit. You know, Wolves lost every single game up until this point. Tottenham doing pretty well overall in the league, but they ended up having to scrape a 1-1 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. João Palhinha, I mean, people are saying it's a wonder strike. It wasn't. I mean, it was a good hit, don't get me wrong, it was a decent goal, but wonder strike, that's a bit strong, to be honest with you. But the fact that it was in the 94th minute and he was taking his shirt off as well, I think that added to the kind of celebrations really at that point. It was a great hit, don't get me wrong, and yeah, Spurs probably did deserve that on the balance of play, but Santiago Bueno with the goal for Wolves, I think it was from a corner as well. I mean, yeah, they deserved it. I mean, overall, it was a decent game, this one, for both teams, but it was a deserved result in the end with this one. Both sides had chances, both sides failed to take them for the most part, but in the end, Tottenham took theirs at the absolute death there. Wolves will be gutted. They are still at the bottom of the Premier League, but that is still something. They've got something. They got a point away from home against one of the big six, so it could be a lot worse with that. Could allow them to kick on, of course, but we'll see what happens. But the final game we're going to talk about, the late kickoff on Sunday, Newcastle United against Arsenal, and Arsenal really needed to win this one to keep close to Liverpool, to take advantage of Liverpool dropping points for the first time this season, and it seemed as though they weren't going to do it. I mean, there was a controversial penalty call in the first half. Nick Pope taking out Victor Gyökeres, penalty called on the field. It was taken to VAR review though, and it was overturned. I'm still not really sure about that one, to be honest with you. I understand why they maybe thought that it wasn't a penalty, but was it a clear and obvious error? I'm not so sure, to be honest. But in the end, Arsenal did run out 2-1 winners, so they'll be happy with that anyway. But at half-time, it seemed as though they may well have dropped points in this one, because Voltemade got the opening goal for Newcastle after half an hour. But it was a late show from Arsenal this time. 2 goals after the 80th minute. Mikel Merino, that goal machine himself, getting off the bench, getting onto the score sheet. And Gabriel from a corner, 96th minute. Arsenal always score from corners, and Gabriel is usually one of the usual suspects when it comes to that. Fair play to them in the end. They did deserve to win this one. They were the better side on the whole, but it looked as though they were going to drop points, but they didn't. They found a way to win. That is huge. They've lost so many matches up at St James's Park in recent times. They hadn't scored, I think, at St James's Park in the last 4 visits I remember hearing in the build-up to this one. So, yeah, very much a difficult victory, a hard-fought victory, but a victory nonetheless. And that is what matters. And the gap at the top now, just 2 points between Liverpool and Arsenal. Palace up in 3rd. Unbelievable. What a season they're having. They're getting a video. Hopefully today. I will hopefully do one today. But yeah, unbelievable stuff for them. But yeah, a great weekend of Premier League action, guys. What was your favourite game? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day around the world today. See you very soon, guys.